Buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. As always, gracias to everyone for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, as the love and support everyone shares and sends my way. From the corazón, I thank you. Also, do please like, share, subscribe, and hype the message. Thank you. Well, everyone, getting right into what I want to talk about today. I was going to touch on what I've been asked quite a bit, right? Which is when I caught my case, how it went down, what happened. But as you guys know, I'm still in contact with one of the ladies as a Christian, and so out of respect, I asked her, and she said, "Yeah, but she wants to hear it. She has never heard it from my mouth." You know, I know it's part of something I have to do too. Anyways, on this one, I want to touch on two carnales. And I mean blood brothers. That I had the pleasure of meeting back in Ironwood. It was well right before I took off on that pegada, right on Güero, and they were there pretty much since I got there. They were pretty much there, right? Is one was Slim from Grape Street Watts. You know, light complected, skinny, tall, and he was actually doing some things for Rollo, right? And even before I left Quilmas, I knew who Rollo was. He was an older Billy, so of course his name was mentioned, right? Now, like I mentioned before to everybody, I used to be different with camaradas. I wasn't a dolphin, so as long as I was doing what I was supposed to do on the yard and allow another camarada to get theirs and present theirs to their señor, todo bien, right? And then the day we're one, we're supposed to be one and walk as one, support it one another whenever we get the chance, right? Anyways, anything out of the calzone is clear as water what's gonna happen. You guys get what I'm trying to say. But shortly after I got there, the homie Largo from Compton, Largo 36 is it or 38? Do forgive me, from Largo, right? And he was Slim's brother, blood brother, right? And different neighborhoods. I guess it all depends on where you grew up at, right? Or who you get along with. Cause nevertheless, it's the first time I heard about Woody from Compton, Seven O's, right? And well, it was brought up to me the way it should when you're holding a jardín, right? As I heard through my brother, you're allowing him to pay his respects, but at the same time, put something in his Billy's pocket, just to make him relevant wherever he's at. Well, I want to ask you the same thing, and I'm working for Woody. I know Woody, right? Remember, this is the first yard I had responsibilities on. So I told him, give me a minute, let me double check on that, right? With me, no hay pedo, right? But I have to double check because, I never mind making myself come out to look dumb as long as I was being real, right? Because they weren't things to play with. And I told him I know Woody. I was gonna verify with the owner of the jardín, and we'll see what's up from there, right? So, anyways, I did what I had to do, take the proper angles to ask, right? If it's true that Homie Largo works for a carnal named Woody from Compton 7 O's, and cómo estaba todo ahí. So, it was in times where when it went well, a good week and a half, you get a response, right? And got a response, and that, yeah, Woody was a senor. He was up there, and that Largo was one of his nephews, right? Y que todo bien. So when I got that todo bien, it came with me not having to ask the next question, which is part of what they have you holding responsibility is resolving things, right? Not being annoying with every little thing, right? And so, anyways, I went out to yard, talked to Largo, and I told him, todo bien, eh? Todo salió bien, todo came back good, homie, and go ahead, there's no reason for me and you to touch on anything. The way your brother's doing things, that's the firme way, and it's the same that goes with you. And you know, sin pedos, sin problemas. Me and your brother been on this yard for more than a year together, and there hasn't been one issue, right? So, anyways, we push forward, and they amongst them, carnales, they build a power base, you could say, in their head, right? Hey, let's see if we can bring these two pilis together, and see if we could get in a little better to hold more power in town. And tú sabes, it's all about power, right? Even amongst camaradas, it's real rare you run across a camarada that's legit with doing things because it's a must. It's what we have to do, right? But as long as everything is in guidelines, right? It should never be my business, right? Or I should never make it my business because that's how you get involved in battles that will eventually ricochet against you and who you're helping. And my thing was holding the jardín. They hit whatever they did to come up. Hey, not once did I ever. Hey, how much did you hit? Was I in their pocket? No. Hey, this much came in. I te va let the homie know. This is from Woody, out of respect to him, or from Rollo, and it was that, right? And it was exactly like, one thing I never been a dope fiend to grab things that don't belong to me, right? So as they gave it to me, I included their kite, boom, 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 and I sent it down the path where I needed to go, and but again they start formulating this power move, you could say, amongst them, right? Because not only are they blood brothers, but they belong to two different cities right next to each other, right? Now I know Grave Street's big neighborhood because how many homies I ran into. Largo, I don't know if it's the same size or what, right? Excuse me on that one. But I met a lot of homies from Largo, and they were trying to do their thing. But what they did not understand is There's a lot of greed. I learned since I left Quilmas, as I mentioned to you guys, is always put yourself in this position. Don't never be under one Billy. Don't never consider him your tío or you being so and so sobrino or worker per se, right? Just get there. If you're a good soldier, he'll follow you. Put yourself in this position. If you're needed, firme. If not, firmes. Go about your business, right? Don't ever offer extras too. If the Pili's happy with what you're doing for him as a whole around, right? Why shake it? Why move it for you to gain power as you're doing time? Now I understand these homies had a grip of time, right? But I understand if someone's about to go home, I want to hit the barrio, I want to do things for the barrio, I want to hold that position for the barrio. But from the inside out, you'll never last. There'll be too many people constantly telling on you, you know. But anyways, one day when we came out to walk, they started, you could say, finessing what their thoughts were with me. And I'll be honest with you, I was a D when needed to be. Sincerely, I tried always to be respectful, but I knew my position too. And I told both homies, look, homie, whatever you guys are gonna do with your peelies, that's none of my business. We said something here. This is Terco's Jardín. You keep it clean with Terco. We keep it clean. You start building something besides reaching out to your pili from here, like building a crew, power base, something. That's something that I have to address because it's being done in Terco's yard, the one I'm supposed to be responsible for. So I don't want to take this discussion with you. My advice is to you two homies know how good them two carnales get along. That you're formal, you're in your head, you're squatting up this plan on how you're gonna make them bend to what you want to do. What if they don't like each other? And I said it, I didn't know Woody, right? I had not met him yet, but I heard the stories from Rollo, and you weren't gonna tell Rollo how to do his things. Period. Point blank. Right? If you were doing something cool for him, you moved it on him and lose it. That was your butt. But anyways, I told him, and this is all done with respect. I extended my hand to you homies as to many, and everything's been firmes. You what just want to do it like that? Don't bring it to me. No to Terco, por favor. You guys know you pay your respects here. You're able to do your thing, but build a base for your pillies on this yard. You can't. I can't allow it, right? Dispensa. Anyways, long story short, it's exactly what I try to say, but as you guys know, I'm not too good with words, and even though I try to make it clear, trust me, when you're there holding a position and it starts being challenged, or there's people start taking a different angle, and they're gonna put you in a position, or you get mad, and at least in my case, getting mad is reacting, right? Don't matter how much I like you. I was a double lifer. It was just You know, either we handle business or we fall together. Because there's only two options once you allow things to go bad, right? But anyways, exactly what I mentioned happened. Rollo or Stretch got at Rollo. Rollo didn't want nothing to do with Woody. It was one of them power struggles they were having because they were so close. Casitas were being made way too close next to each other, and at the same time, it was they felt they were stepping on each other's toes, and it's not even like that. Again, two different cities, different crews, but it's just part of being greedy and not being able to work together, right? Anyways, Largo kept pushing it with Woody to the point where I guess at one point Woody said Simon. So este Stretch, he repeated himself more than once, right, to Rollo, and that's a no-no. For those that know Rollo, he's a hothead, or was, or I don't know how he is now, right? And I got to the point is, who's putting this in your head, homie? Todo está bien, and it should have, like I said, it should be left alone, right? You had Sana on the yard working. You had a bunch of Pilis, right, working, even though it was Terco's yard and everything was good. Why shake it, right? I mean, for example, I'm just giving you an example. Let's say Largo this week hit 36 grams, right, a pedazo. All he was giving Terco was what sometimes those cuartitos, a gram, out of respect. The rest went back to him and his Pili. Not a lot of camaradas give that opportunity, right? Usually the vato that has the yard is Satecato himself, and hell no. But again, all of us do it, right? We look for that power on the outside with our neighborhoods. We want our name to circle on the outside, not on the inside. You know, we always lose sight. The best advice I gave someone, I used to give homies, was that, right? I always told you guys is they would ask me, what advice could you give me, G? I'll tell look, homie, the one advice you should always remember is don't trust nobody. No one. Not a Billy, not a homie, and that includes myself. If you in front of me and you start mouthing off on a Billy, I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna whack you. So I ain't gonna be a comadre and go tell the Billy, but I'm gonna hit you. So don't trust me. The second best advice I could give you is don't get involved, over involved. Keep your focus on what's going on inside. I know it sounds bad, but you have to put family, you have kids, everyone on second base because you need to stay focused on what's going on around you. Because it's that simple. They're going to try to take your life, or you're going to end up on that side. And with that, I clear up. Someone told me I always am respectful of people that walked off to that side. I'm still am. My utmost respects to them. I know a lot of good individuals that are on that side that should not be. A lot of them. And I'm not including for a dead or for no people that went perform and they already had it out for them, and regardless, they got put on that side. Or over BS, they got hit and removed. They came out supposed to be clean, they got hit again. There's a lot of good people on that side. There's a lot of people that get tired. If you ever did some shoot time, you would know. Believe me, you know. For example, anywhere, Corcoran, Tehachapi, sometimes you come out the cell and there's two, three cells of no goods, right? Per se. But you got two cells of them, they do their program like if they just want to be done with all that extras, right? Maybe they got sent to whack the close person to them. They want to do it. That's respectful. He went his way, but he literally went his way without pushing nothing else. And then you had themselves where they were straight pesetas, right? Talking out the neck, behind the door, calling you out of everything you can imagine, being disrespectful, waking up in the middle of the night, hitting the toilet, the fans, you know. And again, there's a lot of different people on that side. And I agree with you who left that comment, right? Just because people are on that side, don't make them a weenie. That's the least thing you should do is get overconfident on them. There's a lot of people that get tired, but don't take from them what they are. But anyways, at the end of the day, you know, Rollo asked who's putting this in your head. Came out my carnal, he's on the woody, woo, 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 woo. Well, I already said no, your carnal seems not to be listening. So I'm gonna shoot a wheel line, you're gonna follow it. Whatever that meant, right? Well, you guys know that wheel came through Terco, and it was to me. That's part of having responsibility. You're a cleanup crew, right? You allow things to happen, and anything wrong, you best correct it. And in this, Rollo's asking Terco that this fool, Largo's brother, or Stretches, excuse me, Largo says the homie from Compton, keeps getting in his head with these ideas, and it, Rollo did a good job. It's a power move on your yard. I keep telling him no, but he keeps pressing it. So guess what happens? The appeal clearly says, look, Chino, make sure you have stretch. Go whack his brother to correct himself. It wasn't a removal, it was a checada. But regardless, think about it. This is your blood brother. And you're the one that has to put steel in him. You know, and I have to be the one there checking that you do it correctly. You softball it, and I'm sorry, con todo respeto, ahí te batí. And me personally, I'll be honest with you, I was never nobody. But if I went there, it always had to be metal, and you always had to feel it. I don't know if I'm making sense. When you hit someone with a metal, you're gonna hit eventually a bone. I can't describe that feeling, but you hit a bone dead on. So whenever I watch someone that went and got sent on a hit that didn't go for that hit, you weren't doing what you're supposed to. So just imagine, either you do this right or your brother's gonna get it from a different homie as you. And all you were trying to do is build something, get two carnales to do something together. But the thing is, sureños don't tell them what to do. Like here, you have one MM member okay with things, but you got another one that feels more power that Chalice, and it ricochets. But that's part of prison politics. So be smart, stay true to yourself, loyal to your loved ones. Buenas noches.